ध्यायेत् महेश्वरं देवं श्वेतवर्णं चतुर्भुजं त्रिशूलं डम्बरुं चैव खट्वाङ्गभयकपालजम् करेर्ददानं वरदं नागयज्ञोपवीतिनं भस्मभूषितसर्वाङ्गं पञ्चवक्त्रं त्रिनेत्रम् गिरीशं त्वं वृषारूढं शिवं त्वं सोमनाथं तत्पार्श्वे स्वर्णवर्णाभ्यां द्विभुजां वरदां शिवां कङ्कणाङ्गं दमञ्जीर किरीटहारकुण्डलम् सिद्धिर्देव गणेशसूतां कुमारीं प्रसन्नवदनां सर्वलक्षणलक्षितां सर्वकामप्रदां भक्तवत्सलं चन्द्रशेखरम्. Yes, I know I added a few words. I have been doing that for quite some time. I should not do that, I know. Anyway, you people learn this. Okay, now 12 times Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Good. Now we are going to continue from the 4 names of Somnath based upon the Yuga. We call that Yuga Somnath. During Satya Yuga, his name was Bhairaveshwara. See the names that have been given. I want you to focus a little on the names of Lord Somnath, specifically Somnath, not just Shiva. We are being very specific now to the Somnath Jyotirlinga. The Somnath Jyotirlinga or the Somnath Bimba, the light of Somnath. You see, you can see in the picture alongside, you can see the Shivalinga, and you can see Vasuki, and you can see Trishula Dambaru, and then on top of that, we have milk pouring from a vessel. You can see that. Nice picture. I hope you appreciate that. And then there is a temple over there, and the light that comes from this Shivalinga, the light is called the Bimba. And this light travels in the clockwise direction or in the zodiacal direction, sorry, in the zodiacal direction, going from Taurus to Gemini, like that it goes. It goes all the way around to Aries, which is the 12th house. And that is why the Satya Yuga, which is in Aries, the Satya Yuga Rashi is in Aries. Mesha Rashi is also called Satya or Krita Yuga Rashi. It is the 12th house of Somnath. From the Somnath, it is 12th house. And I have taught you previously that the 12th house is Bhairava. 12th house is Bhairava in the Naisargika or Kala Purusha. In Kala Purusha, the particular form of Lord Shiva always associated with the 12th house is Bhairava. The reason is that he is the protector of Gauri. He is the protector of Sati. He is the protector of Parvati. The mother Parvati is always in the 4th house. So therefore, the 4th house you will have Mother Parvati. So if she is going to be there in the 4th house, then Bhairava has to be in the 12th house. You see, you have to be very particular about the bhavas of the devatas. The bhava is very important, and we find if Somnath is here, Durga is here. The particular Shakti of Somnath, Durga, is in Leo. She is riding the lion. You can see that. She is riding the lion over there. And the 9th house from Leo, 9th from Leo, this is 9th house of Leo, is Aries. And this Aries is the Satya Yuga Rashi. And because it is the 12th from Shiva, we call it Bhairaveshwara. So therefore, during Satya Yuga or in Aries, his name is Bhairava because it is the feet of Somnath. We are looking at the different body parts of Lord Somnath. His head is in Taurus, right? His face and eyes are in Gemini. His ears are in 3rd house. So 3rd house, which is Cancer, becomes the Treta Yuga Rashi. And you can see the name over here. Shravani Keshwara. Shravana means to hear. Shravana means to hear. The power to hear or to hear. Lord Somnath is hearing your mantra from Karka Rashi. From Karka Rashi, he is listening to what we are saying. He is listening to our prayers, he is listening to our mantras, he is listening to everything. And that is why we are calling him Shravani Keshwara, he who is listening. Like that, 4th house, 5th house, 6th house. 6th house becomes Libra, and Libra is the Dwapara Yuga. You can see that Dwapara Yuga Rashi, Libra is here. For Lord Somnath, this is the 6th house. And 6th house in Sanskrit is called Udara. So what is the 6th house called? Udara. It means abdomen, the stomach. And the name that we are giving him is Shri Galeshwara. Why Galeshwara? The Sanskrit word Gala. Gala. You see, that is the Sanskrit word. It means throat. But throat is the starting point of what we call the digestive tract. It starts from the throat and it goes down to the stomach into the intestines. And the entire digestion. So in the 6th house, the entire digestion of food is happening. The food is being digested, the food is giving strength to the body, the food is removing all the poisons from the body, and therefore we are referring to Shiva at the highest point of the digestive tract. You must remember, the name that is given to Lord Shiva is based on the highest point, right, of the digestive tract. So based upon that, his name is Shri Galeshwara. And then finally, we come to Kali Yuga Rashi, which is Makara or Capricorn. Now for Somnath, for Lord Somnath, this is his 9th house. This is his thighs. In Sanskrit, we call it Janga. So therefore, depending upon the Yuga Rashi, we have very specific names. Om Namah Shivaya Bhairaveshwaraya. Om Namah Shivaya Shravanikeeshwaraya. Om Namah Shivaya Shri Galeshwaraya. Om Namah Shivaya Shri Somanathaya. These are the 4 mantras for the 4 Yuga Rashis. And we human beings, our problem, we have a problem. Our problem is that we can only access the devatas through the 4 Chara Rashis. Why is that so? Because Bhuloka, you see, if you see Bhuloka, we are living on planet Earth. Earth is here. And as far as the Earth is concerned, Earth is having access to this, 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 and this. These are the four axes. So this is the east, this is the north, this is the west, and this is the south. The man who is there in Bhuloka can only access through these four directions. There, you cannot go like this. It will not work. You cannot go directly to Somnath. You cannot go to Taurus directly. There is no petal in Bhuloka. There is no road in Bhuloka that goes directly to Somnath. You have to go through one of the four Chararashis. This is something which is very important in Jyotish, and it is a very important concept in Hindu Shastra. That the four Kendras are Mula, Dhara, Chakra, and they are also the Kendras of Bhuloka. Manushya can access Jyotirlinga power only through the Yuga Rashis. Only through Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn can human beings access the Jyotirlinga. You cannot access it from anywhere that you want. Having known that, Satya Yuga, we need to study each of these forms in more detail. I will show you one small example of how we can start our studies. For example, for Satya Yuga, we saw the name Bhairaveshwara. Now, the name Bhairava is from Bhiru or fear. The 12th house is a very frightening house. The 12th house is where we fall down. The 12th house is where we are pulled down. The 12th house is where we die. The 12th house is the going away from life, the loss of life. If Lagna is life, 12th house is loss of life. And particularly in Navamsha, we have seen how 12th house is always causing death. So the word used here for the name of Shiva starts from our emotion, our own emotion. That is Bhiru, to be frightened. And when you are frightened, you are frightful, you are terrified, so it's a terrible form. You are horrified, so it's a horrible form. And it has to be a very strong and formidable form of Lord Shiva. A form who has the power to destroy even the most powerful beings, like Daksha Prajapati. Such mighty is the power of Bhairava. Tremendous power Bhairava has got. But when we talk of Bhairava, we are talking of 8 directions, 8 planar directions in which this fear can be felt. And these 8 directions are studied in 2 ways. One is through time. Time is called Kala. You see, time is called Kala. And therefore, the name of this Bhairava is Kala Bhairava. Kala Bhairava is the principal name of Bhairava associated with time. So when we talk of the 8 directions of time, we draw a circle, put a square, and then put a cross through it. Right? We say sun is in the east. Then we have Venus. No, Venus is not here. You see, Venus is here in directional. Mars, then Jupiter, then we have Mercury, then we have Venus, then we have Saturn, then we have Moon, and then we have Rahu. This is called the Kala Chakra. This is called the Kala Chakra direction. And the Ashta Bhairava are sitting around the Kala Chakra. I am not going to go into individual or what they are. Today our job is to learn the names. At least we should know the names of the Bhairava associated with time. One is Mahabhairava. Say with me, Mahabhairava, Samhara Bhairava, Asitanga Bhairava, Asitanga Bhairava, Ruru Bhairava, Ruru Bhairava, Kala Bhairava, Kala Bhairava, Krodha Bhairava, Krodha Bhairava, Tamra Chuda Bhairava, Tamrachuda Bhairava. He has another name, Kapala Bhairava, Kapala Bhairava, Chandrachuda Bhairava, Chandrachuda Bhairava, Rudra Bhairava, Rudra Bhairava. So these are the 8 forms of Kala Bhairava. Kala means time. So when your time is frightening, it is a bad time, it is a bad dasha, it is a bad, when the time frightens you, don't be afraid. Go to the concerned Bhairava and he will remove the fear of time. So it is important to understand that Bhairava can manifest in multiple ways through multiple forms to protect you and remove your fears associated with different things. And that is because he is coming through the Satyapitha, through the Lagna. You see that? Now we talk of, this is basically Jupiter. We call this Jupiter forms. Jupiter is the very kind one, extremely kind one. Only he's got double sattva guna, not like other planets. Even the sattva guna planets, sun and the moon, are having single sattva. Jupiter is having double sattva. He's sattva all the time. Now we come to Surya. Surya is also a representative of Shiva. Remember, the 2 planets, sun and Jupiter, represent Shiva. So when we talk of the sun and the forms of Bhairava, now this is called Rupa. Rupa means he's having a particular form. This form is very, very important because the form is that of a king. It is called Raja, or the king. And who is the Raja of our life? He is called Atma Karaka planet. So our Atma Karaka planets are actually protected. Our souls are under the protection of Lord Shiva, taking a form of a Bhairava. And that is the Satya of Lord Shiva. See, Lord Shiva's Satya as time is the Kala Bhairava. Through Kala Bhairava, Lord Shiva is manifesting as time. And through the Raja, the Atmakaraka, the Surya, he is coming down as the king of our soul. And our soul can take any of these 8 forms. These are the 8 principal forms of the Bhairava. And here the name used is Raja. You see the difference. Here Mahabhairava, Samhara Bhairava. See, every time it is ending in Bhairava. Here it is Raja. First one, Vidya Raja, Vidya Raja, Kama Raja, Kama Raja, Naga Raja, Naga Raja, Swachanda Raja, Swachanda Raja, Lambita Raja, Lambita Raja, Deva Raja, Deva Raja, Ugra Raja, Ugra Raja, Vigna Raja, Vigna Raja. In this manner, we have learnt today about 16 forms of Bhairava, in which 8 forms are associated with time and 8 forms are the kings of the 8 directions. So these are kings. Again, we draw a thing like that, and we then put Surya again in the east, then we put Shukra, then we put Mars, then we have Rahu, then we have Saturn in the west, we have Moon in the northeast, we have Mercury in the north, and we have Jupiter. These are the kings. Whereas this is time. So time and kings are different concepts, and they are all put in the 8 planar directions. So this is something you want to study more. You have to study each of the Bhairavas much, much more. You have to know about them. You have to know about their attributes. You have to understand what are their mantras. You have to know when these mantras can be used. So there is a lot to know about the Bhairavas. He who has knowledge of the Bhairavas will not have any fear in his life. You will become an absolutely fearless person. There is no fear, no matter what is. Even death cannot frighten you. That is the grace of Bhairava. Why are you afraid of death? Oh, God knows I will become a ghost and move around. You have no faith in Shiva. You have no faith in Shiva. If you had faith in Shiva, why do you assume that he is not there and he will not come? So therefore, we need to go to Bhairava, because what he does, if you see from Somanath, he is in the 12th house. And 12th house is also called the house of faith. 12th house is also called the house of faith. Therefore, by going to Bhairava, your own faith in God will go up. Your own faith in Shiva will go up. You will have a deeper bond with Mahadev. Go to Bhairava. Go inside your heart every day. It is not about going to a physical place. Bhairava is within you. You have to go there. Your Atma Karaka, your soul. Where do you think your soul is? It is inside you. It is not hanging around outside like some of these Netflix movies, you know. One person, I saw one movie, one person has got a soul which is a dog, and the soul is running around all over the place, and he's running around all over the place. That is all rubbish. Those are all fictions, you know. The soul is very much inside you and is trapped inside the cage of the body. So there are multiple forms of Bhairava because there are multiple forms of fear. Bhaya, Bhiru, Bhaya. From Bhaya, which is our emotion, fear is the emotion. We are afraid of something or the other. And based upon our fears, we need Bhairava to deal with this fear. Unless we overcome these fears, we really cannot claim to have faith in the Lord. We cannot claim. In any form that you may love God, you may love Krishna, you may love any form, you may love the Mother Durga. Without Bhairava, there is no overcoming the fear. For example, in this list, there are some names that you know which are famous names, like the name of Patal Bhairava of Jagannath temple. The Patal Bhairava of Jagannath temple. Patala means absolutely bottom, rock bottom. You can't go worse than that. It is the worst position possible, Patal. Patal Bhairava. So that's a form of Bhairava who even removes the fear of Patal. And what happens when that fear is removed? When the fear of Patala, that is a loka, the bottom loka, where snakes only can dwell. If you have done any snake-like behavior in your life, you will go to Patal. And the only way you can overcome that, the karmas, the bad karmas, by which human beings go to Patal after death, is to pray to Patal Bhairava. After praying to Patal Bhairava, then you go to Jagannath. Then Jagannath will listen to you and he will take you out of Patal. You call him Jagannath, you call him Varahamurti, you call him whatever you want. But Narayan is not going to help you. Krishna is not going to help you unless the concerned Bhairava has removed the fear so that you have what is called the correct faith, the correct bhakti. The faith that the word faith I'm using is bhakti. When you have that bhakti in ample measure, in good measure, then only you know that that is the benediction of Bhairava. So faith and bhakti, faith or bhakti and Bhairava are interlinked. When you have the faith of by going to Patal Bhairava, then only Jagannath will never leave you because your bhakti is true. Like that, there are many forms of Bhairava. There is another form of Batuka Bhairava, you see, and Apada, Apadudharana, that is. So, when we learn about different forms of Bhairava, sometime maybe during this course, if we have the time, we will go through the different forms, their mantras, how to worship, all those things. But in the meantime, you should also do your own research and rather not depending upon me all the time. Prana, we are alive so long as we are breathing. If we are not breathing, we are dead. That is one important thing to check. in human beings, when they fall flat and suddenly there is no sound, nothing. So the pulse is checked, the breath is checked. If there is a pulse, there is prana. The pulse is there, prana is there. Prana is the breath of the sun god. It comes from Surya. And Surya's Pratyadi Devata is Shiva, Rudra. So therefore we look at the Surya Prana. Surya Prana is called Soham. What is Surya Prana? Soham. Soham. Surya Deva is continuously doing this mantra. Soham, Soham, Soham. And who tells us so? So Ganapati, who was meditating on Surya, he heard this sound. And he was wondering, what is this sound? What is this sound? Soham, Soham, Soham coming from this bright shining object. So he says, oh, this must be Sohamsa. So Ganapati called him Sohamsa. So Sohamsa is the name of the sun god because when he breathes, his breath sounds like Soham. That is how his breath is sounding. And when Manushya are breathing, their soul is saying Hansa, 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 Hansa. That is called the soul mantra. So you see, the soul of all human beings is Hansa. And the Surya's prana is Soham. Hansa is also called a swan. And the soul is Hansa. This swan has the capacity to differentiate between true knowledge and rubbish, between milk and water. He can filter that. The power of filtering knowledge and retaining it and throwing away the water is the power of the soul. Therefore, true knowledge is always retained in the soul. False knowledge will go away like water. So having known this, we have learnt in Jyotish that if the sun is in Chara Rashi, Chara Rashi are also called Yuga Rashi. Chara means movable, and the four movable signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And these four signs, the Yuga Rashis, when the sun is placed in these Rashis in your chart during Mesha, Karka, Tula, or Makara Masa, like I am born on the 7th of August, during my time, the sun was in Cancer. So from Karka Rashi, Surya was doing the mantra Soham, Soham from Karka Rashi, from the moon sign Karka, from the lunar house Cancer. He was doing the mantra Soham, Soham. Get the idea? That Rashi can be directly heard. That sound can be directly heard in Bhuloka. So when Surya is doing Soham, Soham, Soham and going around the zodiac, only from these Chara Rashis is the sound directly coming to Bhuloka. For other Rashis, we have a problem. The sound is not coming directly. If the sun is in a Sthira Rashi, fixed signs, which is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio or Aquarius, then the Surya Prana is in the 9th bhava. So you have to look at the 9th house. Let us say in somebody's chart, like Lord Krishna's chart. In Lord Krishna's chart, the sun is here. Okay. The sun is in Leo. So it's a fixed sign. So you have to take the 9th from it. So where is Soham for Lord Krishna? The Soham is here. Right. In Rama's chart, in Lord Rama's chart, sun is here in Aries. So where is Soham for Lord Rama? So Soham for Rama is here. Interesting. For both Rama and for Krishna, Soham is in Aries. Wow. Wow. Does that mean something? I don't know right now. I'm not teaching Jyotish. But for the people who are doing Jyotish, this is an important observation. Where is Soham in your chart? That is very, very important to know, because that is the breath of the sun god. In the case of Sri Ravi Shankar, his sun is also in Aries. So for him also Soham is in Aries. For me, my sun is here. I am born on 7th of August. So my Soham is here, like that. So we know that if it is in a fixed sign, you have to take the ninth house from that. If it is in a dual sign, Dushva Bhava Rashi, you know this 3, 6, 9, and 12, the Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, then you have to take the fifth house from that. Let us say Sun is here in somebody's chart. Okay, Sun is here right now. Huh? Then the fifth house from this, because this is Gemini, you know. So the fifth house from this, Soham will be here. It is very important to understand that this Soham is the Surya Prana. And this is a trine. If you observe, it is always in a trine. It is in the first house from the sun, fifth house from the sun, or ninth house from the sun. You see, ninth house, fifth house, or same sign, first house. It is called trine, Agni Kona. First, 5, 9. And that is a very important principle of Agni. Why are we using the Agni principle? Because it is the Adhidevata of Surya. Agni is the Adhidevata of Surya, therefore Agni principle has to be used with Surya. And Agni is the fire, it is the heat, it is the light. And all that is we receive as a gift from Surya every day. Now, come to Manushya, the human beings who are saying Hansa, Hansa, Hansa. So what are human beings saying? Human beings are saying Hansa. That is what human beings are saying. And what is the sun saying? They are saying Soham. Right? So this principle is used in drawing the Navamsha chart. Human beings are coming through the Navamsha chart. And in this Navamsha chart, there is a place called the Prana Pada. In the drawn horoscope, it is written as PP. And it must be in trines or seventh house. Why seventh house? It is called Drishti from the moon. So wherever the moon is, the Prana Pada has to be in trines or seventh house from it. And another name for the moon is Soma. We stay alive. The power to keep us alive is the power of Soma. It is not the power of the moon in the Rashi chart. It is the power of the moon in the Navamsha chart. The power of the moon in the Navamsha chart is what keeps us alive. Because in the Navamsha, moon is Soma. And from his Navamsha position, he is looking at the Prana Pada. This is a very, very important relationship. It is called the Sambandha of life. It is the Hansa. It is that which is keeping you alive. In my horoscope, my moon is in Pisces in the Navamsha. Meena Navamsha. So therefore, for me, Soma is Pisces. And that is critical for my life, for my well-being, for my happiness, for my mental peace, for my sanity. The moon in Pisces in the Navamsha is what matters. The Rashi chart is important, but the Navamsha is critical. The Pranapada does not have to be aspected by the moon or in trines in the Rashi chart, but it has to be aspected by the moon or in trines in the Navamsha chart. what is the deeper meaning of each of these aspects. Because there are four possible positions: 1, 5, 9, which is the trines to the moon, and the seventh from the moon. So there are four positions where this can happen. Someday we will talk about that. Right now we come to Somanatha. Now you see, when I say Soma, from now you will immediately remember it is the Navamsha moon which is more important. Soma. Soma is Navamsha moon. Now this is the chart of Shri Krishna, right? With which name did he establish the temple? Now Lord Krishna cannot be wrong, we know that. Absolutely right all the time. So whenever I have to learn something, confirm something, I try to look at his chart so that I learn something. This is the horoscope of Lord Krishna. And how do I know which is the Jyotirlinga? The square over here represents Kendra. So the moon in the Rashi chart is in Taurus. You can see that. So I will put a tick in the four Kendras from Taurus. Do you see that? I have put a tick in the four Kendras. From Taurus, you put a tick in the four Kendras. So moon Kendra, you see that square moon, moon Kendra of the Rashi chart. What are these? These are Sthira Rashi or fixed signs. Then I see Arudha Lagna, something called AL you will find. And then I have to take the trines from this. So again I will put a tick over here, trines to this. So trines to the Arudha, 1, 5, 9 to the Arudha. Arudha Lagna is in Virgo, put a tick in Virgo. Fifth house from that is Capricorn, put a tick. Now, one of these Rashis will have two ticks. Here you see, there is a double tick in Taurus. Do you see that? We have got two ticks in Taurus. Therefore, this is called the Jyotirlinga. Now, by now you know why I am taking the moon. Because I am taking a Jataka. I am considering somebody who is already born or who has appeared in the planet. That means the person has taken a body through the moon in the Navamsha. Therefore, the moon has to be taken into account to determine the Jyotirlinga of a person. Otherwise, normal argument is when the Jyotirlinga is created by Surya by transiting the 12 Rashis, we are having Dwadasha Jyotirlinga by Surya transiting 12 Rashis in 12 months. And these Jyotirlingas are having the Bimba of Shiva, the light of Shiva, because of Jupiter transiting these 12 Rashis in 12 years. The light, the Jyotirlinga, the physical Jyotirlinga, like, to make a temple, to make a Shiva Linga, to put the Shiva Linga over there, to do puja, to do all that. The physical thing is created by Surya. Temples are all created by Surya, but that doesn't mean that God lives in the temple. For God to live in the temple, Jupiter alone has the power to call God to live in the temple. No other planet has that power. No other planet has the purity. And that is the reason why the transit of Jupiter is extremely critical for calling the different devatas. So remember this. You can ask me this question when we are in Shiva Mahapuran class. What is this transit of Jupiter in the Rashis and the Vargas? How does Jupiter have the power to call these devatas? Which devatas can he call when he is in different Rashis and different Vargas? That I will teach you over there, maybe if I have the time. So now you know, for Manushya, we have to take two things, the Arudha Lagna and the moon, Chandra. So square moon and triangle Aruda. Square moon, triangle Aruda. That is the formula. And we found it. It is in Taurus, Vrishabha. And the Jyotirlinga is called Someshwara. The Jyotirlinga, the Bimba of Lord Shiva, is always Ishwara. The light of Shiva is called Ishwara. And this coming through Soma, coming through the moon, is called Someshwara. Okay? Good. How powerful is the light? Number one. For now, since it is coming from the sign Taurus, we have to check how strong the moon is. Oh, the moon is exalted over there. Oh, the moon is exalted and Vargottama in Taurus. Oh my God, this is very powerful. The Lagna is also in Taurus. Wow. The Lagna is also Vargottama in Taurus. Oh my God, this is just too powerful. Now I need to check the name of Somnath, of Someshwara, with which he can worship. For that, I need to go to Navamsha and I have to see when he's taking a human form. Lord Krishna came with a human form. He had two hands, he had two legs, he had two eyes, he had hair above the head, he had two ears, he had two nostrils. You can see that the physical form of Lord Krishna is a human form. He did not have any animal form, nothing. He was pure, beautiful human form. Okay? Now, for then we have to apply the rules of Manushya Jataka. Where is Prana Pada? Prana Pada will tell us the particular name of Somnath. Now, if the Prana Pada, let us say Prana Pada was in Aries. If the Prana Pada was in Aries, then what is the name that I'll come? Bhairaveshwara, I would have called him. Lord Krishna would have called him Bhairaveshwara. Lord Krishna would not have called him Somnath. You see, the Prana Pada is in Kali Yuga Rashi. So therefore, Lord Krishna is calling him which name? Somanath. Wow. You see, the Navamsha Prana Pada will tell us. You have to take the trines. Say the Prana Pada is here. Then also you have to take the trines and find the Chara Rashi and from the Yuga Rashi. You have to find the Yuga Rashi from the trines to the Prana Pada and you will know the name with which you have to call Someshwara. If let us say in your Navamsha your Prana Pada is in Leo, then you have to call him Bhairaveshwara. If your Prana Pada, let us say, is in Scorpio, or it is in Pisces, or it is in Cancer, then you will call him Shri Shravaneshwara. Like that, with different names, you have to know. Now you see, these are little secrets, small things, but they are very important. Huh? Because not only am I giving out such a critical secret associated with the Jyotirlinga, I am also helping you to learn the importance of Pranapada and the moon. And remember the rule. You look at the moon, moon is in Taurus. Where is Pranapada? It's in Capricorn. It's a trine. You see? So that correct. It has to be trine or seventh house from the moon. So you learned a very important lessons. Two important lessons. Number one, how to calculate the Jyotirlinga. That is very important. Number two, having learned how to calculate the Jyotirlinga, with which name should we call him? Which Yuga name should we call him? But right now you don't know the names of all the Jyotirlingas in all the 4 Yugas. You only know Somnath. I am unable to remember all of them right now. If I remember, I will share it with you. Now the history of Somnath. I need a break before I go into this. Somnath falls, India is enslaved. There is a peculiar link between Somnath temple and India. Krishna knew, Lord Krishna knew that a terrible Kali Yuga is coming. In this terrible Kali Yuga, the memory of human beings will be wiped out. More and more research has revealed that many years back, the human beings were far more technologically, mentally, spiritually advanced. The human beings, the race of humans on this planet was very advanced. Mankind had reached a very high level of consciousness and realization. Let us not just talk of India, let us talk about the pyramid at Giza. The proportions at which they have been built, the methodology at which they have been built, the manner in which they have been built, the technology with which they have been built. It is not possible, even today, with all the great amount of technology, and we pride ourselves with being very advanced and modern people. We cannot build those pyramids. We cannot have that alignment with the stars. We cannot have that precise alignment with the equator. The precision with which the stars were aligned to the pyramid, that precision we cannot do. We lack that. We do not have the technology. We are backward. In 5,000 years, we have gone more and more backwards. We have not gone forward because somewhere we forgot everything. For example, the Konark temple was built in such a way that when the sun rises, the rays of the sun will touch the feet of Kona Aditya. That is the name of Konarka. Konarka is the name of the temple. The name of Surya is Kona Aditya. And as the sun rises, his first rays will fall in the face of the Kona Aditya. And as the sun goes up and up and up and up, the light will go down and down and down and down. Finally, it will touch his feet when the sun is at a certain angle. And then when the sun goes higher and higher up, he will no longer fall at Kona Aditya. What a brilliant technology. What technology? They used a magnet right at the top of, I mean, the more you think about it. So when Somnath will fall, India will be enslaved. It is the dream of many politicians. I have on record politicians who have gone, even now, who are hell-bent on breaking the Somnath temple. Pathetic. Ancient history we will go into. We will go about the gates of Somnath and how Somnath was restored, again destroyed. So many times this temple is built and many times it is destroyed. Somnath falls, India is enslaved. Look at the adjoining pictures. The Ghaznavid Empire rose because of theft. Some empires have risen from theft because basically their people were incapable, incompetent of building something of their own at that point of time. Today it's different. In 1025 AD, King Bhima I, that is Bhima Deva Solanki, was attacked by the Turkic Muslim thug Mahmud of Ghazni, who plundered Somnath temple, broke the Jyotirlinga, looted 20 million dinar of booty. That is the amount of booty he looted at that point of time. God knows what is the value of that right now in 1025 AD. Al-Biruni states Muhammad's motives as, this is the words of Al-Biruni, raids undertaken with a view to plunder and to satisfy the righteous iconoclasm of a true Muslim. So Muslim people were supposed to destroy all idols, and also you see, these kings were very shrewd. They used that Islamic theology that, look, you have to attack these temples and destroy the temples so that Allah can come. That is the rubbish they have been teaching the Muslim people from 1025 AD. And they do that even today. But what is funny is that these people, many of them, are so stupid that they actually believe that. So he returned to Ghazna laden with costly spoils from the Hindu temples. So that was the objective, to plunder and to satisfy the righteous iconoclasm of a true Muslim. So Al-Biruni obliquely criticizes these raids for ruining the prosperity of India. India was extremely prosperous, and these ruining of the temples ruined the prosperity of India. Now this is written by an Islamic writer. So this Islamic writer also believed that these temples, particularly the Somnath temple or the Jyotirlingas, were responsible for the prosperity of the land. How are the Jyotirlingas responsible for the prosperity of the land? We know that the sun gives wealth and the moon gives longevity. And the sun in all Rashis is Shiva. And the Shiva in all Rashis of the sun is nothing but the Jyotirlinga. So the Jyotirlinga in reality is the giver of wealth to everybody. All the wealth of a country, of a land, of the prosperity of the people comes from the Jyotirlinga. And you see, our ancients were so brilliant people that they were able to identify the spots where these Jyotirlingas were correctly there. There were some kind of a energy centers they were able to find, and they were able to establish the Jyotirlingas over there. And there was a lot of technology that went into that. And this Islamic author, he knew that the prosperity of the land totally depended on these Jyotirlingas. And by destroying them, by ruining them, you are creating antagonism among the Hindus for all foreigners and triggering an exodus of scholars of Hindu sciences far away from regions conquered by us. So Al-Biruni knew that the lands which were being attacked by the Thug, Muhammad of Ghazni, the thief, Muhammad of Ghazni, was going to ruin the prosperity, particularly of Gujarat, because that is the Jyotirlinga of Gujarat. And not only that, the people of India, if you keep doing this 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, 10 times, 20 times, after some time, the people of India will develop xenophobia. That look, these foreigners are coming to our country and all they end up doing is breaking our temples, bombing our places, killing our people. And even today, they continue to do that. And unless we fight back, we give it back to them in their own coin, they will not stop. When somebody is coming and breaking my temple, I should have the strength to go and break his temple and let him feel, let him know how it feels, because he doesn't know how it feels. I know it's a nasty thing to do. It's an absurd. So we Hindus, we don't like to do nasty things. And because of that, we are taken to be weak. And because of this weakness, they keep repeating it again and again. And that is what happened. This is what history shows. And even Al-Biruni, he's a Muslim guy. He writes, this is exactly what will happen. And that has happened. What he did not like, whether the temples got destroyed and all the money went to his land, I mean, that is not something he really lamented. What he lamented was the science, the Shastra. You see, all this Jyotish which you are learning from me was the Jyotish of Somnath. This was the Jyotish of the Somnath temple, the sciences of the Somnath temple. This is where the priests and the pundits and the scholars would gather in the evenings and discuss and debate and write down their things. And what did my forefathers do? They packed their bags and they had to leave with the books to Kanyakubja, from where the king of Orissa gave them shelter, said, no, no, please come here. Live here, you will be safe over here, nobody is going to attack you here. Study. So Somnath was raided by Muhammad Ghazni twice, but the Nawab of Junagadh demolished it 11 times. So you see, it was not just Muhammad Ghazni, the Nawab of Junagadh. The Nawab of Junagadh, you see, Junagadh was a princely state in northern Gujarat. At the time of independence, Junagadh was supposed to go to Pakistan. They wanted Junagadh to go to Pakistan. But you see, the Gujaratis were very strong this time. You can beat somebody once, twice, thrice, 10 times, 11 times. Nawab of Junagadh destroyed Somnath 11 times. And what did the people of Gujarat do? They stripped him of his royalty. How are you royal if you are behaving like a thug? So you see that the moon always rises after Amavasya. This is what they don't know. We know Amavasya will come. We will lose. That is all right. But we will rise again because the moon will rise after Amavasya. And this is what has happened. You can see time and again the temple has been destroyed, and time and again it has been built up. So you can see how many times. As the Somnath temple was ruined, the moon of India was crushed by Rahu. And when the moon gets crushed, the Brahmana will be forced to leave. Because the moon is Brahmana Raja. Wherever the moon will be crushed, the first people who will be forced to leave that place will be the Brahmanas, the professors, the lecturers, the educationers, the people who are very, very cerebral, who are studying and reading all the time, who are thinking all the time, who believe that there are no enemies. The moon does not consider anybody an enemy. The good people, the very good people in the planet, they will be forced to go away because they don't want to fight. Forget it, yeah, useless fellows. So, like that saying, they will go away. Gradually, India was enslaved because they could not have enslaved India unless Somnath was destroyed again and again and again. And finally, people stopped rebuilding Somnath. When people stopped rebuilding Somnath, Rahu was free to rise. Rahu rose to its might because Somnath was no longer being built. You see the pictures over here. 1869, 1895, you see, it was like that. That is not a temple. It is just some kind of a ruin over there. You can see. You can see the ruins of Somnath. When Somnath was ruined, India was enslaved. And then you see the ruins, absolute ruins. 11th century Persian historian Al-Biruni states that Somnath has become so famous because it was the harbor for seafaring people and a station for those who went to and fro between Sufala in the country of Zanj, East Africa, and China. So basically, Somnath was an absolutely important business point. And Al-Biruni has noted that this Gujarati people, the Saurashtra, earlier it was called Saurashtra, not Gujarat. The ancient name was Saurashtra. The name Saurashtra is from the bija, so. This is the seed of so plus Rashtra, means kingdom. So Saurashtra. So the ancient name of Gujarat, Saurashtra, came from the sound bija, so. This is called Bala Tripura Bija. Bala Tripura Bija. The Bala Tripura Bija so is the seed of the Gujarati people. And these Gujarati people, the so of Saurashtra, is so powerful that Mercury will always be super powerful. And because of this super powerful Mercury, they are the best traders and the best businessmen. Nowadays in the modern world, there is a joke. There are two people who you can't beat in business. One is the Jew and the second is the good Jew. So Prabhas Patan was occupied during the Indus Valley civilization. It was one of the very few sites in the Junagadh district to be so occupied. Abandoned in 1200 BC, reoccupied in 400 BC, and continues into the. So, time and again, the people of that place have been driven out, attacked, but time and again they have rebuilt. They have always rebuilt. So, Somnath temple has been a Jyotirlinga site and a holy place of pilgrimage, Tirtha. Somnath temple tops the list of Jyotirlinga in the Jnana Samhita of Shiva Mahapuran. That is chapter 13 of the Jnana Samhita in the Shiva Mahapuran. Among all the temples of Lord Shiva, among all of them, the highest is Somnath. It is the Lata, it is the head of Lord Shiva. There is no temple of Lord Shiva higher than Somnath. The oldest known text with a list of Jyotirlinga is the Shiva Mahapuran. And when Shiva Mahapuran is saying this, there is no doubt that Somnath is the first and the highest Jyotirlinga. Around the year 1600, a Persian historian, Muhammad Qasim, Hindu Shah, his name is Muhammad Qasim Hindu Shah, what a name, known by the name Firishta, came up with the story of Somnath Gates. He is the one who started the Somnath Gate story. In his book Tarikh-i-Firishta, he devotes a full chapter to Sultan Muhammad of Ghazni and claims that the Sultan removed the gates of Somnath shrine during the raid and carried them to Ghazni. An English historian, Alexander Doe, believing that Firishta's narration must have been a true story, included it in the book History of Hindustan, published in 1767 to 72. This story was carried forward by other English historians of the 19th century. Or in other words, Lord Somnath did a very clever thing. He made one of those very Muslim authors, because you see, to be a writer, you have to use your head. And if you are going to use your head, Somnath will have a say, because he is the Lord of the head. So you see, Somnath, this story somehow got created and everybody started believing this story, that the gates of Somnath have been stolen by Muhammad of Ghazni. Then in due course of time, Muhammad of Ghazni died. Now what happened to the Somnath gates, and what about this story? So finally, Muhammad of Ghazni died and they made a very great mausoleum for him and all that stuff, right? But see what Lord Somnath did. In 1842, East India Company of England had appointed Edward Law, Earl of Ellenborough, as the Governor General of India. Arriving in India, he welcomed by the news of the massacre of Kabul. You see, the Anglo-Afghan wars were happening. When this Governor General, he arrived in India, by then he got information that the Hindus, that the British troops, particularly the Jat troops of General Nott, okay, had completely attacked Ghazni. Now, look at the name. Ghazni is the same Muhammad Ghazni who had attacked Somnath. Now the British, taking the Hindu troops, attacked Ghazni. So Ghazni was fully seized by the Jat troops. These are Jats of Haryana. So Jat troops were under General Nott, aided by Maharaj Ranjit Singh of Punjab. So basically, the Haryana Jats and the Sardars of Punjab were together in this battle under General Nott. And then this Governor General, he had read that story somewhere in London. So he was very excited, young, I'm sure, having no experience. So he came, he was informed of the Somnath gates installed at the tomb. Now look at the information. Who gave him the information? We don't know. The Somnath gates were installed in the tomb, and he issued the proclamation of the gates. It is called the proclamation of the gates order. The British General William Nott has to remove the gates and bring them back to India. Oh wow, I love the British for this. I will always love the British for this one order, just one order, and thank you. Because you know why? It was very, very important that the desire and the wishes of the great Lord Shiva should be carried out, and the British carried them out. Acting on the orders from the Governor General, William Knott paid no heed or attention to the fervent requests and the pleading of the Ghazi mullahs. The Ghazi mullahs were crying just as the Brahmins had cried so many times when Muhammad Ghazni raided them. Muhammad Ghazni raided Somnath and the Brahmins of India cried. Now the army of General Knott attacked the shrines or the place, and the mullahs were crying, the soul of the great Muhammad Ghazni will be very disturbed. He said, I don't care. So he pulled the gates out. Here is the picture of the gates. You see the guns, the jats of. So they pulled the gates out. They destroyed the mausoleum completely, and they brought it all back to India. Now, actually, it was known that the gates of the Somnath temple were of sandalwood. So when the gates came back, they were not of sandalwood. The gates that came from the mausoleum were not of sandalwood, which means that the story was false. Muhammad of Ghazni tomb was desecrated just as he had done to Somnath. So, just as he had destroyed the Somnath temple, so also his tomb got desecrated. No escape. The Shiva Linga of the Somnath temple, which was broken and stolen, was 20 man of jewels. Man is a weight. 800 kilos of jewels were used on the Shiva Linga. Or in other words, the Shiva Linga was almost 1 ton in weight. Can you imagine how heavy and big that Shiva Linga must be? And here we are only talking about the weight of the jewels in it. 1 ton of jewelry was used. 1 ton of jewelry was used on Somnath. I'm not talking about 100 kilos, 5 kilos of gold. And gold is cheap compared to those jewels. Each of those rubies, each of those things cost a fortune. And the chain that was keeping the Shiva Linga in place, that itself was 200 man. Can you imagine how much is 200 man? 8,000 kilos, 8 tons of gold. So roughly you can say 1 ton jewels plus 1 ton stone or crystal, whatever you call it. And this was roughly about 8 tons or 20, about 200, say 10 times. So roughly 10 tons gold chain. The chain was about 10 tons of gold. Can you imagine how much wealth? Just the temple had the wealth. And nobody stole from the temple. It's a temple, it's Shiva's money. Why would anybody take? The Shiva Linga appeared to be suspended. I'm not saying this. Al-Biruni says this. The Shiva Linga appeared to be suspended in space. Wow. It was as if the Shiva Linga is flying. The Chalukya king again repaired and restarted the puja and rehabilitated it. But he could not make the Shiva Linga fly in the air. Now, how did they do that? They used what they call a magnet. They used the magnet system in which the base of the Shiva Linga, you see, this is the Shiva Linga, right? This is the Shiva Linga. And this top of the Shiva Linga, that is like this. There is a chain which is holding it, just to hold it in place. And there is this magnet out here. And below the Shiva Linga, they have a thick piece of iron. And this iron gets attracted to the magnet, and it pulls the Shiva Linga up. So basically, this magnet is controlled by some kind of a mechanism by which either the magnet is exposed or unexposed. When you expose the magnet, it makes the Shiva Linga fly in the air. And then when the exposure in the magnet, you see, when you close the magnet, the Shiva Linga goes down to earth. Wow. Can you imagine? So you can turn a knob and the Shiva Linga will go down to earth. It can be cleaned and all that thing can be done. And when it is ready, you can again turn the knob and the Shiva Linga will fly in the air with the power of the magnet. So they use the magnets to make it fly, not like Lord Krishna, who had used his meditation power to make the Shiva Linga fly. You see, this was the technology in India thousands of years back. But then the Chalukya king, he did repair and he restarted the puja and rehabilitated it, but he could not make it fly. In 1169, Bhava Brihaspati was appointed the chief priest of the Somnath. That's his name, huh? Bhava Brihaspati. So Brihaspati was the chief priest of the Somnath temple. So that means that whoever is the chief priest of the Somnath temple, he should be given the title Brihaspati. How interesting, huh? Because only Brihaspati is qualified to serve Lord Shiva. He hailed from Kanauj, Kanyakubja Brahmana. The family of the Pashupatta Shaiva Brahmanas initiated a succession of powerful priests at the Somnath temple. Those were the years. My forefathers must have been very powerful at that time. Bhava Brihaspati, he who persuaded Kumarapala to replace older wooden temple with a stone temple. So the stone temple came, earlier the whole temple was a wooden temple. In the ancient world, the entire temple of Somnath with all this tons of gold inside it was a wooden temple. But he is the one, Bhava Brihaspati said, we have to make it a stone temple and we have to reinforce it properly and make strong locks and all that. So that's how we did it. Then the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, 1658 to 1707, ordered the demolition of the Somnath temple. So the final demolition order of the Somnath temple was issued by Aurangzeb. Absolute demon. It's very difficult to accept such a person. So now you see, for many, many years, Somnath was destroyed, stayed in that destroyed state. The Mughals, the Nawab of Junagadh, Ghaznavi, so many. Again and again and again and again, I mean, from all directions, the attack happened on Somnath. Because they knew that so long as Somnath stood, the head of the Indian will be high. He will not bow to you. Then Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. There was a great politician in India named Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He took a sankalpa. Sankalpa means a promise, where you take some water in your hand and you make a solemn promise. So he took this sankalpa that he is going to restore the Somnath temple. So the person who put his soul behind the Somnath temple was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And guess what was his lagna? Taurus lagna, I guess, huh? Or maybe something else. Why don't you check it out? And who was the other person with him from Bihar, from the land of Bihar, Angadesha? There was a Kayastha, brilliant Kayastha, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. He was absolutely clear that this has to be done. And he was the first president of India. So look at the people involved. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who went on to be the first Home Minister of India. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who went on to be the first president of India. These were the main kinds of people who were totally dedicated to making the Somnath temple reconstruction a reality. So, with this, I think I will end now, and we will go into the return of Somnath in our next dialogue. Thank you so much for being with me. It has been a pleasure.